Hello, it is World Wide Web Wednesday, July 8th, 2020. Steve Sipress here, and I could have saved this one for Social Media Saturday because it's all about Facebook, which is a social media site, a social media company, but therefore that is a subset of the internet, so it is a prime target for me to discuss here on World Wide Web Wednesday. So, do you advertise on Facebook? If so, you're not likely, if you're watching my videos, to be one of the major advertisers. About 1,000 companies or so that have signed on to this latest Facebook advertising boycott. Some go even further and say they're not going to advertise for 30 days or 60 days or whatever on any social media platform. And the whole social media sordid world is kind of being exposed for what it is. You advertise on their platforms and you give the control of where your ads appear to the platform. So Google, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they put your ad wherever they see fit. It appears next to whatever message it happens to appear next to in whoever's news feed. So therefore, you're not going to like all the messages, and these companies were expressing that they don't like all the messages that their ads appear near or as a part of, for instance, in a YouTube video where it appears in the beginning or in the middle or at the end of a video with no control for the advertiser, right? If you advertise in a newspaper, magazine, yellow pages, you can likely affect the placement. You certainly can in a magazine or a newspaper. You can discuss and negotiate placement. You can say, we want to be placed in the, let's say the newspaper, we want to be in the sports section, right? So your ad would appear in the sports, we want to be in the business section, right? But on Facebook, on Twitter, Google, the way YouTube, the way those platforms work, you can't control where your ad is placed. So it might be next to what you would consider a message that is against what your company stands for, and you don't want anything to do with it. And that's the gist of this latest Facebook boycott. Now, there have been Facebook boycotts before, so I know you might be thinking, whatever, this happens all the time, it blows over and the advertisers are right back again, and Facebook just keeps growing and growing and the revenue just keeps going up and up. But I'm going to suggest that this one is different. Before, all the hullabaloo was over some kind of a one-time, one-off event. A certain Facebook allowed a murder to be broadcast on a live video, and temporarily everyone was outraged, and companies pulled their ads and this, that, whatever, and then of course they came back later. And there have been other one-off occurrences and things that have happened in the world or on social media that they cause them to pull back temporarily. But this appears to me this could be a long-term one, because the gig seems to be up for these social media platforms that they've got to make a choice. Either they're going to control all of the content like a newspaper or a magazine does. They control the content. So I know if I advertise in a magazine, the letters to the editor, they don't publish every single letter to the editor full of expletives or racist comments or anything. They edit those and they only publish the ones they want to publish. So they're opposing viewpoints sometimes, or an op-ed, but it is still edited. It is still looked at as part of the overall publication. So I can be confident that my ad is not going to be linked, appear right next to some kind of racist or whatever I don't like type of comments. And that's just not true on Facebook or YouTube or Google or any of the social media sites. So the gig is up. They are a platform for speech, and people have opinions. And certainly in the year 2020, we've got an absolute crazy, here in the US at least, an absolute crazy society right now, real polarized, and a lot of anger, not a lot of unity. And so there is, this is the longest since I've been on Facebook, it's over 12 years ago, that I have not even scrolled through my Facebook feed. I come on here every day and I do a Facebook Live video like I've done every day for over 3 years. on facebook.com/smallbizhelp, B-I-Z. Greg is here. Good seeing you. You can always come on live and post a comment, say hello, talk to me, agree, disagree, whatever you want to do. Otherwise, you're watching it on a replay somewhere else on the web or on one of my Facebook pages or whatever. So I come on Facebook every day, and I will often see people might have posted stuff to my wall. I check the groups that I manage. I'm the administrator of several Facebook groups, and I usually will look and say happy birthday to my friends, but they don't notify me about more than the birthdays. So for the last 10 days or so, I've been missing happy anniversaries, I've been missing deaths in the family, I've been missing any kind of major messages or minor messages people are saying, because Facebook is just ridiculous to me lately. I mean, people are just off their rockers. I mean, in both directions. I mean, overly crazy in both directions about all the misinformation going on about this virus and what should be done about it, and all these mobs. So for instance, take this whole Black Lives Matter. The phrase makes a lot of sense and is a unifying message, because of course, Black lives, which have been crapped on for years, I don't believe it's systemic. I don't believe it's, we've gotten rid of the laws. It's not, certainly wouldn't count in my world for a system. My company is named Successful Selling Systems because I put effective systems for advertising, marketing, and sales into place for my clients. If I had a system, if I said it was systemic, this racism, my clients would not pay me any money. They'd say, that's pretty crappy system. It's got a lot of holes in it. It's not true. It doesn't function all the time. It doesn't meet my definition of systemic, but it's certainly pervasive. Unfortunately, I still come across, it's the year 2020, and I come across so many racists, they don't even realize they're racist when they say jokes like, how many Polish people does it take to screw in a light bulb or what? I always have to ask, I go, well, what's the thing about that general population, or is that the one that's too dirty, too stupid, too this? I don't even know all the racist things but people, these seem to roll off people's tongue, or they judge people, or they'll use race or skin color as an adjective for people, just as if I care. They'll tell the story and they'll say like, yeah, I was talking to this white guy, and I'm like, does that matter? Yeah, I was talking to this Italian guy, I was talking to this black guy, and I'm like, I saw this black guy walking down the street. I'm like, does it matter? And they'll go, well, no, actually, it doesn't matter. So it's just amazing how easily you bring race in everything. So race is pervasive. This is not a message about race, but it doesn't rise to the level of systemic, that's for sure. However, the point is that the sentiment, the phrase, Black Lives Matter is great. The group itself, horrible. The group itself is just a Marxist, anti-American group. They are against just about every basic belief of what America's all about. So the group itself, horrible, but they're very smart to use that name, because that phrase has got to be unifying. There's got to be only a very few fringe, complete lunatic losers that would think that anyone's life doesn't matter. And of course, the jails are filled with them, murderers and rapists, and just general people that are asses, that just don't believe all humans have lives have value. So that's very few. So the sentiment, great. However, this Black Lives Matter, this whole racism issue, let's leave out the Black Lives Matter, because what it really, the group that it stands for, horrible, absolutely horrible. But the sentiment, the phrase, the feeling, the thinking, yeah, universal. So companies are doing all kinds of things. They're finally, there's a little momentum here, and hopefully it keeps up, because companies are making real changes. Now, there's other companies that are just virtue signaling, like the NFL with their bogus, we're going to play a black national anthem. Like, you're kidding, right? Are you going to play other national anthems of all the countries people are from, or whatever groups they belong to? If someone is a Christian, you're going to play a Christian hymn. You're going to play what would you play? Amazing Grace. You're going to play that for all the Christians. You're going to play something for all the Muslims. Stop being ridiculous. That kind of stuff is ridiculous. But I, of course, checked out of the incredibly stupid and totally mismanaged NFL. The owners and the commissioner are just complete losers. I checked out of that years ago. But some companies are making real change in their hiring policies, in their editorial policies for sites and stuff. But in this one, this boycott of Facebook is different. First of all, it comes during a downturn in the economy. Okay, and a lot of companies in a downturn in the economy make the stupid decision to cut their advertising and marketing budgets. It's, of course, the opposite is what you should do. So smart businesses and business owners and entrepreneurs ramp up our marketing and advertising during these times, and we are raking in and profiting from this chaos, or during the chaos, not from the sorrow of people, but we're profiting during this time because, one of the big reasons is because most companies are making the big mistake of cutting back their advertising and marketing. But for the lion's share of companies doing that, it's easier than ever to say, well, we're cutting back anyway, so let's just cut out Facebook advertising for a month, see what happens. And instead of just seeing what happens and coming back as they always have done in the past, if they explore other options, they're going to find that they can take all that money, put it somewhere else, and generate all kinds of leads and sales and profits for their business, and they don't actually need Facebook. Now, in my opinion, you hear me talk about it a lot, that it's not smart to cut out anything that works in your advertising, marketing, sales mix. But in this case, since it stands for something, and to be advertising on Facebook could stand for we are associating ourselves with intolerant speech and intolerant ideas that are against our ideas, and we don't want to be associated with them. So I think this one's for real this time. And if you followed me for years, you know that I've said for years Facebook is not going to be around forever. And of course that is met with, most often it's met with total, you don't know what you're talking about, Steve, you're crazy, don't whatever, really, because if you go back 100 years to the top 10 largest companies in America, you probably couldn't name 8 of them. They don't exist anymore. And so if you read, go back through history of American business and you read books about the giants of yesteryear, you realize all those businesses don't even exist, and those were absolute giants. And you can see libraries and schools and buildings named after these people whose companies were massively powerful and successful, like Facebook is today, and they don't exist. And Facebook, likely sooner than later, will cease to exist, and this could possibly be a big catalyst. Other reasons are because young people stopped dealing with Facebook a while back. That's a killer. Of course, as with anything, other sites come up, and that's why I'm saying not just sites for advertising alternatives, but also just usage alternatives. There are other places to go to voice your opinions and talk to your friends and family and post what you had for lunch and cat videos and whatever, than on Facebook. So Facebook, and the guy's brilliant, but from my observation, from the outside, what I've seen with Mark Zuckerberg is consistently, the most consistent thing about him, other than his brilliance, is his bumbling ineptitude as an entrepreneur. He just keeps making false step, mistake after mistake after mistake. And because the site is so popular, and it's free, and it's easy to use, and it's fun, and the advertisers keep making money with it, the thing just keeps growing and growing despite all of his bumbling missteps. But this one, he's handling it poorly as usual, and this one, I think it's going to make a difference. So the question is, if you are advertising on Facebook, first of all, Facebook doesn't care about you. If you're watching this video, you're a smaller business, so you know that. You throw a few $100 at it here or there, or maybe you have a $50 or $100 a day thing you do, and Facebook doesn't care about you one way or the other, and maybe you don't care that much about Facebook one way or the other. It's $50, $100 a day, a few thousand a month, whatever, and you make some money with it. But if it's your only source of income, and you've got things rocking, you've got a great Facebook ad campaign, and you know that it's just throwing off cash. You know that for every $1,000 you give Facebook, 5,000 comes back to you. Just beware and start to look around and make some plans, because Facebook is in a downward spiral that this time it might not come out of. This one is different than the others. This is a long-term thing. And a possible solution might be that Facebook just cancels advertising and goes to a paid model and says, just like an HBO, for instance, it just says, hey, we're going to have content only. You can still post what you had for lunch, your cat videos, talk to people, do whatever, but we're going to have no advertising. And it's only going to cost $5 a month or $100 a year, like Amazon Prime, $120 or $10 a month, whatever they charge. They'll still bring in billions of dollars, but the whole advertising game would be over. That's one solution for them, because otherwise I really just don't see a way out. For the first time, they have really pissed off both sides of the aisle. I mean, conservatives, of course, have long been very angry at Facebook because Facebook is as all media, all big social media companies, and most of all media companies are overwhelmingly leftist, liberal based, pissing off conservatives on Facebook with their bogus fact checking and banning and removing posts and all this kind of stuff. Like, conservatives hate that, and now they've angered all the liberals because they won't take away the lunatic, racist speech. So they've angered both sides. Zuckerberg is incapable, in my opinion, of navigating this properly, doesn't know what to do at all. And I'm coming to you right now live on Facebook, but I already know that there'll come a day where I will not be doing these videos on Facebook anymore. I'll be doing them elsewhere. There are other sites. I can do YouTube Live, I can do LinkedIn Live, I can, just put up videos on my own platform live if that's what I chose to do. So that's what all advertisers are thinking right now. They're looking at alternatives to Facebook. You might look to alternatives as well. Otherwise, even though you're only putting a few bucks into it, you might also not like that your ads sometimes are coming up next to messages that you don't want associated with you or your business. Just something to think about. And that's it. That's my opinion for Wednesday, Worldwide Wednesday, July 8th, 2020. Will I be right? Will I be wrong? Will I be incredibly right? Will I be incredibly way off base wrong? Time will tell. And speaking of time, my time is up today. Thanks for being here live, watching on the replay wherever you are, or listening or reading the transcript of it. And I will catch you back here tomorrow on Throwback Thursday. Over and out. Bye-bye.